What is up, all you do-it-yourselfers? My name is Dylan Taylor. This is Dylan's DIY Workshop, and today I'm going to be talking about where you can get wood to wood burn on. So I'm going to make this video a little quick, not quick, just short. I've got a little list of places that you can get the wood, and I've also got a little bit of a surprise about me selling blanks on my Etsy page. So if you've got to this video, you probably have a wood burner or looking into getting a wood burner and doing all your research first, which I applaud you for. Say you've got your wood burner and you're ready to wood burn. You don't have any wood. So what do? You go and you find a scrap piece of wood somewhere, you go to burn on it, it doesn't turn out quite right. That's because probably one of many reasons. One, it could be the wrong type of wood. It could be a type of wood that needs to be much hotter. Your wood burner needs to be much hotter to burn it. It could be that it's not perfectly smooth and flat, and that's why the wood burner's not working right on it. Or it could be the wrong type of wood in general. It could be a really soft pine. The wood burner kind of just bounces through the different densities of the wood and it's too sappy. If you want to learn more about that, I also have a video. I'll put a card up in the top right. Different kinds of wood to wood burn on and what they do, which ones are best. What is the best wood to wood burn on up there. However, this video is going to be focused on where to actually get the wood to wood burn on. The first place that most people would probably think to go is the big box home improvement store like Lowe's, Home Depot, Home Hardware if you're in Canada, maybe Rona, any type of home improvement store that sells lumber. And that is a great place to go. It's a little bit expensive if you can't buy stuff by the foot, and you also need to either be able to cut it or have them cut it and be at a store that will cut it for you. First off, pine is an option that you can probably find at any of those stores. However, like I said, different densities in it and how sappy it is, it really isn't that great to wood burn on, especially being a beginner. It doesn't really give the results that you want to see. So another option from the big box store would be poplar, which is a little bit harder, and you do need a wood burner that is of adequate temperature to be able to burn that. Along with that, there are some big box stores that do sell things like my favorite wood to burn on, which would be black cherry or walnut. There are stores that do sell that, so you can check that. There's also plywood that you can get there. Not construction grade plywood, fine plywood where it's very smooth. The only thing I caution you about with that is the fact that each of the layers has glue between the layers of plywood, and as you can see, there are layers, and in between each of those layers is glue. So if you burn through this top layer, which is, as you can see, very, very thin, all of a sudden you're burning into glue, which is toxic to breathe in. And even if you don't burn into that, but you get the wood hot enough that it starts letting off fumes on the glue underneath, that's something you really don't want to be breathing in. Something you can burn on, something I have wood burned on, but you need proper ventilation and you might even want to be outside. So that is plywood. You could get that at the big box store. Moving on, there are specialty wood stores, and you can buy planed out wood there in different sizes. However, those are few and far between, and their prices are usually fairly expensive depending on what it is. Which brings us to lumber mills, which is where I get my lumber. I get my cherry in boards like this, which is about this thick. That's very rough and looks nothing like this right here, which is what I actually like to burn on. And it ends up, when you give it a nice finish, if you want to finish it after you're burning, it looks a little bit more like this color. Not quite as dark though. You have a planer, a saw that can rip the boards, and also a saw that can cross-cut the boards, a sander, and possibly a router if you want to make blanks to wood burn on. Go ahead and go to the sawmill, and I encourage you to buy rough sawn lumber. Rough sawn lumber is the cheapest way to buy it, and the reason big box stores and specialty wood stores are more expensive is because of all of those other tools I just mentioned and the work that goes into turning this board right here into a finished piece like this that you can do wood burnings on. So if you don't have those tools, the sawmill may also still sell D4S wood, which is D4S? It means that it's finished on all four sides and it's smooth. They may also sell that if they have their own planers and a thickness sander. So that is also an option. It would be more expensive than the rough sawn wood, but if you can find it locally, it's good to support, your local sawmill. Getting past all of that comes to the point where I'm going to mention these blanks that I've made. I live just down the road from a sawmill, one of the biggest ones in Ontario, I believe. That brings me to this. I do have a planer, I do have a bandsaw, which is right here, that I have used to resaw the boards. Went from a board this thick to a board this thick, the first thing I did was plane both sides, rip it in half on the bandsaw, and then plane the other side that I just ripped. And then went ahead, sanded it down very smooth, and then going from that, cut it off this size, which is 5.5, 5 3/4 by 8 or 8 1/4 with the other type of wood I have. And then it has a little bevel edge on it that you can't see there. It's just an 1/8 inch round over. So it's this nice little piece of wood that you can put your wood burning on and burn away, have a nice blank that you can burn on. Back to the types of wood. This is basswood. Typically can't find it at big box stores or anywhere other than a lumber mill or specialty hardwood deals. This is one of the easiest to begin wood burning on. It requires the least heat to actually burn because of how soft it is. It's also really great for carving, not that you would carve something this thin. These two types of wood, I purchased a couple pieces of the rough sawn wood, and I went through all the steps that I already explained to get to these pieces right here. Since I get a lot of questions of where to buy wood to wood burn, I figured these are things that I haven't been able to really find on the internet, at least for a decent price, and also specific kinds of wood, which would be cherry and basswood in this size, nice size to wood burn something. I figured I would go ahead, I would make it, and I would make an Etsy listing so that you guys get these. Now, I do encourage you to support local businesses like the lumber mills and maybe not the big box stores, because those are usually corporate owned. But if you have sawmills or specialty hardwood dealers nearby, check them out, check their prices. But if you come up empty-handed and you want to help support myself and my channel, and also have a piece of cherry, which is my favorite wood to burn on, absolutely, or a piece of basswood if you can't find it, in this nice 3/8 thick by 5.5 by 8, then I do encourage you to check out my Etsy link in the description. Go ahead and get a couple of these. These are the ones that I'm posting right now. Just this, it's basically, what would you say, 5 by 7. It's just a bit bigger than that, so a photo size. Got cherry and I've got basswood. If you guys are interested in a different size piece of wood and you would like to have something a bit bigger, something that's wider, I do have boards that are this wide, so if you want something larger, I can do that as well. Just let me know, or if you want something that has live edge on it, I am also capable of finding that. So just shoot me a message on Etsy or an email through my About tab on my channel, and we can figure something out and definitely make a fair price for it. If you've watched my other videos, you'd know that you need to make this very smooth before wood burning. I've sanded it so that it's pretty well ready to go, but you might want to touch it up just a little bit right before you go to wood burn, make it extra soft. With that, every order of these wood burning blanks is going to come with a sheet of 400 grit sandpaper, so that saves you a couple bucks if you're just buying an individual sheet of sandpaper to get it all prepared, nice and ready so that you can burn on, as well as a piece of transfer paper. If you've watched my other videos, you'd know if you wanted to do a drawing that you've made on paper or a printout from the internet, you want to tape that down and trace it with transfer paper underneath, which will leave it on the wood and you can burn from there. So every order will come with the sandpaper and the transfer paper. If that is something you guys are interested in, it would be amazing if you supported my channel by going through that way. If not, I understand, and definitely check out your other options. Another thing, if there's a different type of wood that you'd like to use, maybe maple or poplar or cherry, I already said cherry, walnut, anything else, I can get my hands on that as well and mill it up. I just started with these two. I'm going to see how much interest there is and then possibly get into having different types of wood or different size blanks. Feel free to shoot me a message, and if there's something that there's interest in, I will definitely make another ad on Etsy so that we've got different sizes available too. So all of that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. The link will be in the description if you are interested. I want to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters for supporting me and allowing me to keep creating these videos. It is really, truly amazing. Special thank you to the top tier Patreon supporters, Randy, Robin Bird, and Mike Maxwell. You guys are awesome. So if anyone else wants to help support me on Patreon, there will be a card up in the top right corner, as well as the link in the description, as always. That's it. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please share this video with a friend. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, give it a big old thumbs up. We'll see you guys all next time. Peace out.